That night was supposed to be quiet, just like every other lately. I was parked on the couch in the living room, beer in one hand, scrolling through my phone with the other, thinking about nothing in particular. That is, until the front door blasted open like a scene out of a bad action movie. My wife, Angela, stormed in with a guy I'd never seen in person but knew all too well, Carter, her new boyfriend. He was cocky, smug, the type who probably flexes in the mirror before bed. And Angela, well, she looked like a stranger. Gone was the woman I married. What walked through that door was someone else entirely, someone proud of what she was doing. She had a wad of cash in her hand, my emergency stash I had tucked away in the floor safe, and Carter? He was waving a pistol around like a toy. Well, would you look at that? The loser's home, Angela said, her voice dripping with venom. Surprised to see us, Ben? I didn't say a word. Just leaned back, letting her words bounce off like rubber bullets. I'd waited a long time for this moment. Carter raised the gun, pointed it straight at my chest. We're taking everything, he said. Your cash, your house, your pride. And you're too dumb to stop us. Angela smirked and draped herself over him like she was proud of the whole thing. Did you really think I was happy with you? She sneered. You're a joke. I need someone real. But what they did not know was that they had walked straight into a trap. My trap. I cracked a grin and leaned back further in my chair. The confidence seemed to irritate Carter. His knuckles whitened on the grip of that pistol, but I was calm. I had been planning for this for months. You think this is funny? He asked, his voice thin. Funny, I said, meeting Angela's eyes. You have no idea. That shook her for a second. Her smirk flickered. She tried to recover, holding up the cash like a trophy. You think I was going to stay with someone like you forever? She hissed. You're boring. Predictable. Weak. But that was just it. I had seen this coming from a mile away. All the late-night, work calls, the sudden need for privacy, her changing wardrobe. I played dumb, sure. But I was documenting everything. I knew where every bill in that safe was, and I knew she'd try to take it someday. Let me explain something, I said as I slowly stood up. Carter flinched, keeping the gun trained on me. That money? It's not even mine. Belongs to someone you really don't want to piss off. Angela looked confused now, nervous even. What are you talking about? You'll see, I said. Then bang, 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 3 loud knocks on the front door. Carter jumped. Angela's face drained of color. I stayed calm. Everything was going exactly how I wanted. Who is that? Carter barked, gun still shaking in his hand. Why don't you go see? I said, smiling wider. Angela looked terrified. Ben, what did you do? Carter hesitated, then moved toward the hallway. Angela turned to me, her panic growing. Ben. I cut her off. You wanted a thrill, right? Well, here it is. A scuffle broke out in the hall, yelling, furniture scraping, then the unmistakable sound of someone being slammed into drywall. Angela froze. A few seconds later, the front door creaked open again, and 3 large men stepped into the living room, Tony and his guys. These were not the type of men you want showing up at your door. Built like tanks and quiet as shadows, they were all business. Angela, I said casually, meet Tony and his crew. They're here for the money you stole. Tony cracked his knuckles. Evening, he said with a grin. We got a little situation here. Huh? Carter stumbled back into the room, face pale, gun gone. He looked like someone had yanked the soul right out of him. Angela backed up, now completely unraveling. Ben, you set me up, she stammered, her hands trembling. Oh, you finally figured that out, I said. Took you long enough. Carter tried to save face. Listen, man, this was a mistake. We'll put the money back. No harm done, right? Tony stepped beside me and laughed coldly. Wrong answer. His guys grabbed Carter by the arms. He didn't resist. Couldn't. He was already broken. Angela dropped to her knees. Please, Ben. I messed up. I know. I'll do anything. Just don't let them hurt me. I crouched in front of her, steady as a rock. I'm not going to hurt you, Angela. You already did that to yourself. She looked up at me with wide, watery eyes, searching for forgiveness. But there was none. You're done here, I said. You wanted a new life? Go find it. But it won't be here, and it won't be with my money. She looked around, desperate for a way out. But there was none. She had burned the bridge, and now she stood in the ashes. Tony's men returned, Carter already out the door. Angela followed, broken and speechless. She stepped outside with one last look over her shoulder. I didn't return it. The door shut behind her, heavy and final. And just like that, peace. The weight that had been crushing me for so long finally lifted. She was gone. The lies, the betrayal, the games, gone with her. But this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. Tony's guys hung back for a moment, waiting on my signal. I turned to him. He still had that satisfied glint in his eye, the kind a man gets when a job goes off without a hitch. "You take care of Carter?" I asked. Tony let out a dark little chuckle. "Oh yeah, we took care of him. You won't have to worry about that punk again. Not sniffing around your wallet or your wife." I nodded. That was enough for me. Carter was just a small-time idiot who got caught in a big mess. Whatever happened to him after this? That wasn't my problem. My focus was on Angela, on everything she wrecked. Tony patted me on the shoulder, firm and proud. "You handled it better than most, Ben. A lot of guys would have folded, but you kept your head. Smart move. If you ever need anything again, you know where we are." I gave him a tight smile. "Thanks for everything." With that, Tony and his guys walked out, leaving me in a house that suddenly felt much, much emptier. I sat down hard on the couch, the same one where Angela and I used to sit and laugh and talk about dumb things that seemed big back then. Now, it just felt cold, lifeless. All the adrenaline that had carried me through the night started draining away, leaving behind something worse, emptiness. I had gotten my revenge. The unfaithful wife was out, the fool she was running around with had been dealt with, and my cash was safe. But as I sat there, looking at the blank TV screen, a thought hit me like a brick to the chest. Even though I had one, I still felt like I'd lost something. The house was too quiet, too still. The silence made my thoughts louder. And the more I sat there, the more I realized how much damage had been done. Not to the house, not to my stuff, but to the life I thought I had. I closed my eyes and let her voice echo in my head again. "You're boring, Ben. I need someone who makes me feel alive." That little phrase played on a loop, over and over, digging deeper with every pass. Boring. That was what she thought of me. A man who worked long hours, sacrificed, stayed loyal, tried to build a future. I was boring. And for what? So she could toss it all away for a guy who probably thought 401k was a radio station. But deep down, I wasn't just mad at her. I was mad at myself for not catching on sooner, for brushing off the signs. The late nights, the lies about meetings, the cold shoulder in bed. It had been building for months, and I let it. The buzz of my phone pulled me out of my head. It lit up on the coffee table, Angela's name on the screen. I just stared at it for a second. After everything she pulled, she had the nerve to call me? I almost declined it, but something in me said to pick it up. "What do you want, Angela?" I said. My voice was flat. No anger. No love. Just done. Her voice cracked through the line, panicked and breathless. "Ben, I need to talk. I messed up. I didn't mean for this to happen. Please. I just need to see you. Please." I clenched my jaw, blood boiling under the surface. "See me? What? So you can lie again? Tell me you're sorry? That it was all a mistake?" I let the anger creep in now. "No, Angela. You made your choice. You picked him. Live with it. Ben, listen, Carter. He's dangerous. You don't know what he's capable of." I cut her off. "I do know. And I don't care. You chose that mess. You stay in it." Then I hung up. She was scared, sure. And maybe she had a right to be. But she was on her own now. Carter was her mess, not mine. I tossed the phone across the room. It hit the wall with a hard smack, landed face down on the carpet. It wasn't broken. But even if it was, I would not have cared. I was trying to be done with her. Trying to move on. But something did not sit right. Her voice shaking like that. The way she talked about Carter, like she knew something I did not. My gut had kept me alive more times than I could count, and right now it was screaming. I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and stepped outside. The night air slapped me in the face like a wake-up call. It was clear and still, stars shining above like none of this mess existed. The calm didn't match what I felt inside. Then my phone buzzed. Not a call. A message. From an unknown number. "You should have listened to her." My stomach dropped. Before I could react, another message came through. She was right about Carter. "He's coming for you." My breath caught in my chest. I looked up just in time to see headlights turning onto my street fast. Too fast. I ran back inside and locked the front door. My hands were shaking now. Not from fear, not yet, but from instinct. Survival. I was not about to let this man blindside me. Where was the gun? I hadn't touched it in years. But I knew where it was, buried in the back of the closet behind old tax papers and junk. I grabbed it, loaded the chamber, and just as the metal clicked into place, bang, the door burst open. Wood splintered. The sound echoed down the hallway like a thunderclap. Then footsteps. Slow. Steady. I crouched, gun drawn, every muscle in my body tight. And then I saw him. Carter. Standing in the entryway with a crowbar dangling from his hand and murder in his eyes. No more gun. No more act. Just rage. You thought you could get rid of me? He growled. Send your goons after me and walk away clean? I steadied the gun. I didn't send anyone, Carter. You brought that on yourself. But if you take one more step, you're not walking out of here. He laughed, a broken, cold sound. You think I'm scared of you? She was right. You're just some washed-up fool. She deserves better. I stepped forward, voice low and sharp. She's not mine anymore. And she was never yours. I fired, one shot, into the wall next to his head. He flinched hard. All that bravado disappeared like smoke. I raised the gun again. Last chance, Carter. Walk. Away. He stood frozen for a beat. Then his expression cracked. He turned and bolted into the night. And I just stood there, listening to the silence return. But I knew it wasn't over. Not even close. My head was spinning. Everything that had gone down, the lies, the betrayal, the insanity of it all, was crashing into me like a freight train. This was never just a simple affair. No, this was something deeper, something darker. These two weren't just cheating. They were cornered. And when people get cornered, they get dangerous. I sank into the couch, trying to calm my thoughts, when my phone buzzed again. This time, it was not a random number. It was her. Angela. I stared at the screen, torn between hanging up and tossing the phone across the room. After everything she had done, she didn't deserve even a second of my time. But something made me pick it up anyway. Not out of forgiveness, just a weird kind of curiosity. Then, listen to me, she said, her voice cracking with panic. None of that smugness from before. No fake charm. Just fear. You need to get out. Carter's not done. He's coming back, and he's not coming alone. I tightened my grip on the phone, my jaw locked. I already dealt with him, Angela. He's gone. Whatever happens next, that's between you and him. I told you. You made your choice. She choked on a breath. You don't get it. He's bringing someone. Someone worse. Please, you have to believe me. I almost laughed. But there was nothing funny about this anymore. Worse. I asked. After everything you two pulled, you really think I'm going to take your word for it now? You two walked in here with a gun and a plan to rob me blind. And now you want me to believe you. She was crying now. I could hear it in her voice. I made a mistake, she said. I thought I had control of him. I didn't. He's not thinking straight. And the guy he's bringing, his name's Marco. Ben, he's not like Carter. He's a real threat. The kind that does not leave loose ends. That name stopped me cold. Marco. I had heard that name before. Through back channels. Quiet conversations from guys like Tony. Marco was not just another thug. He was a closer. The guy people called when they wanted things handled, with finality. Why should I believe a single thing you say? I asked, voice like steel. Because I'm scared, she said, barely above a whisper. Not of you. Of him. Of what he'll do. If he thinks you're a problem, he won't just threaten you. He'll end it. He'll end both of us. Her words hit differently now. This wasn't about anger or revenge anymore. This was survival. Where are you? I asked. I'm hiding, she said. I don't know how long I have. I heard Carter talking. They're coming to your house. Tonight. I ended the call. I didn't need more from her. I needed answers. I needed help. So I called the one man who might know how to fix this, Tony. He answered after a few rings. Ben? Thought we were done. What's up? I gave him the quick version. No fluff. Just the facts. Carter's bringing a guy named Marco. You know him. Tony went silent. That told me everything I needed to know. Yeah, he said finally. His tone changed. Darker now. I know Marco. If he's involved, this just escalated. You got a plan. I'm not sticking around to be a target. I need you here. Fast. I'm on it, Tony said. Do not do anything stupid. Just hold tight. I hung up, heart pounding. Every tick of the clock felt heavier now. The air in the room was thick. I was not sure if Angela was telling the whole truth, but I could not afford to find out the hard way. And then, headlights. Not Tony. They were here. I moved fast, ducking near the front window. I could see them clear as day. Carter was pacing, nervous, twitchy. But the other man, Marco, he stepped out slow, calm. His eyes scanned the house like he was already picturing where I'd fall. This wasn't just intimidation. This was a hit. I backed away from the window and crouched low. My gun was still in hand, but I knew Marco would not scare easy. He was not Carter. This guy was methodical, focused. The front door creaked open. Footsteps followed. Carter's voice rang out loud, false confidence. Ben, thought you could screw us over? Get your ass out here. I stayed silent. Then Marco entered. Quiet. Controlled. He did not say a word. Just moved through my home like he had done this 100 times. Where is he? Carter muttered. Marco ignored him, moving slowly, listening to the air itself. Then Marco spoke. You have two options, Ben. Walk out, and maybe this ends quick. Stay hidden, and I drag it out, and enjoy it. Carter kept pacing, but Marco shut him down with one look. I will find him, he said softly. I always do. I knew I could not wait anymore. I started moving toward the back door. Quiet. Every step was a gamble. When I reached the door, I gripped the handle, praying it wouldn't creak. Then a voice, low, smooth, and too damn close. You're smarter than I expected. I turned. Marco was there, halfway down the hall. He did not raise his voice. Did not rush. Just stared, like he already knew how this would end. Carter appeared behind him, smug. Got you now, Ben. Should have just handed over the money. Marco lifted his hand, silencing him. You sure you want to try that? I said, raising my gun. Marco's smile was slow. You are not a killer. Not yet. He stepped forward. I cocked the gun. Try me. It happened in a blink. He lunged. I fired twice, but he was too fast. The shots missed, cracking into the wall as he slammed me to the ground. The gun flew from my hand. He pinned me down, one hand at my throat. Tight enough to make the world spin. You are in over your head, he whispered. This is not your game. Then, just as suddenly, he let go and stood up. Drag him out, he told Carter. We'll end this outside. Carter grabbed me, pulling me up. I fought back, but I was drained. Just as they started dragging me toward the door. Crash. The front door blew open. Tony's voice boomed through the house. Nobody move. Marco turned. His expression unreadable. Tony and his crew were already inside, guns raised, steady. Marco sneered. You're late. Tony stepped forward. Drop him. This ends now. Marco stared him down, but he knew the math. He let me go. Carter looked like he had seen a ghost. Tony, I thought. Shut your mouth, Tony barked. Both of you. It's over. The air was frozen. A standoff without words. Marco lifted his hands, stepping back. You can have him. But this is not finished. Tony aimed dead center. You make another move toward Ben, and I will end it for real. You hear me? Marco's stare lingered on me. Cold. Promising. Then he turned and walked out. Carter followed, scrambling behind like a kicked dog. And just like that, they were gone. For now. They left like cowards, Marco with that dead-eyed glare, Carter right behind him like a kicked dog. As soon as the door shut, I slid down the wall, breathing heavy. My body was shaking, but not from fear anymore, just the crash after the storm. Tony holstered his weapon and stepped over to me. He held out a hand. You good? He asked, voice low but steady. I grabbed his hand and pulled myself up. Barely. But yeah, thanks. Tony gave me that look, the kind that says this ain't over. You got lucky. Marco's not the type to back down. He'll be back. And next time? He won't knock. I nodded. I knew that already. Guys like Marco don't leave loose ends. He would come again. Harder. Smarter. And next time, he might not come alone. Tony's men started checking the house, sweeping it like professionals. But no amount of muscle in the room made me feel safe. The silence that followed was deafening. Angela. Carter. Marco. This wasn't some random love triangle gone sideways. It was war now. And I was right in the middle of it. I looked over at Tony. So what now? He leaned on the counter, arms crossed, calm as ever. You've got two options. Pack up and vanish. Or stay and finish what they started. But understand something, Marco's not just going to quit. He's either walking away with what he wants, or he's getting buried. Running sounded easy. Safe. Just disappear and start fresh. But as I stood there, looking around the house I built, the one they tried to rip from under me, I felt something harden in my chest. No, I said. I'm not running. This is mine. They don't get to take it. Tony studied me for a second, then gave a small nod, almost a smirk. You got grit. I'll give you that. But standing your ground won't be enough. Then what do I do? He rubbed his chin. I know someone. Knows Marco. knows how he operates, could help you get ahead of this before Marco makes his next move. Call him, I said. Whatever it costs. I'll handle it. Tony let out a small laugh. It's never just about money. But yeah, I'll make the call. While he stepped away, I just stood there, letting the silence settle again. My mind drifted, almost on instinct, back to Angela. She had not called since the meltdown. And like clockwork, my phone lit up. Angela. I thought about ignoring it, letting her rot in the wreck she helped create. But something made me answer. What now? I said. No emotion. Just ice. Ben, listen, he's not done. Her voice was shaking. Marco, he's coming back. And he's not just after you anymore. He's out of control. You think I don't know that? I snapped. You and Carter brought this into my house. You walked in here ready to steal everything. And now you're calling me like I'm supposed to save you. There was a long pause. I could hear her trying not to cry. I know I screwed up, she said. But Carter, he's not who I thought. He's spiraling. Marco's the one pulling strings now. And if we don't stop him, he'll kill you. He'll kill me too. I closed my eyes, jaw tight. That's your problem now, I said. Please, she whispered. I'm scared. I didn't answer. I let the silence say everything I needed to. You chose this, I said finally. You walked into my life with a match and gasoline. Now you're watching it burn. She broke down then. But I felt nothing. Not anymore. No, I said. I'm done. You're on your own. I hung up. Tony came back in, phone still in hand. My guy's in, he said. Wants to meet in person. You sure you're ready for this? I nodded without hesitation. Let's finish it. Tony smirked. Strap in. This is where it gets real. Conclusion, voiceover style. Ben's story was never just about payback. It was about taking back control after being blindsided by the people he trusted most. When betrayal strips you bare, you either stay broken or you rebuild stronger. And he wasn't just rebuilding. He was ready for war. Because sometimes the only way to move forward is to burn the past behind you and never look back.